You found us.
Welcome to Emergency Protocol, a podcast for people who are stressy and depressy.
We are your hosts,
Denise
and Jackie Freed. That's my mama.
And that's my baby.
We are sharing our 12 steps reimagined for today's society.
And our bumpy, pothole-ridden spiritual paths.
And we're bringing you along for the ride.
This is us doing the actual work.
When the shit hits the fan, you know it's time for Emergency Protocol.
Hi.
Hi.
We're just over here.
Cranky.
Well, I'm not really cranky. I'm just frustrated with my lack of technology knowledge. So my dongles aren't dongling the way they dongled last week. And so I can't figure out why my camera doesn't work. So we're just going back to the back days of just straight Zoom here.
Yeah.
We're straight up Zooming.
In case, sorry to all our YouTube fans who are going to be devastated by this footage quality.
All two of you. Only us. So here we are. Life is lifing right now, and it is a little crazy. I am really working hard to maintain my sense of agency, not feel helpless or hopeless in this situation while I'm watching this kind of weird fascist takeover of America. Yeah, and Jackie's nodding because she's like, I told you this was happening.
The fucking worst I told you so ever.
And, there's still a lot of people doing a lot of good things. So I also need to know that there are people inside and outside of all of these things that are also trying to do good and maybe not being as loud about it. And so I think the thing that's a little scary, right? Well, there's so many things that are scary right now. So this is the thing. How do you not allow a third party to choose my fear, right? Like, how do I say, okay, yeah, that's happening, and not just live in fear all the time, so that I can hang on to my agency, so I can hang on to my relationship, so I can still have love, so I can still feel the feelings and take action in a logical space, not in a fear space. And you sent me a video earlier this week with that therapist who was talking about dysregulation or where you're like pretending like everything's okay and you're just going about your business. And then there's a moment that shakes everything up, which happened last week. And then reconcile yourself, really.
Yeah. Like process it.
Yeah.
But then slowly, like, life just starts happening again. Right. And so it's not that these things lose their impact, but it just gets normalized because life is going on. Everyday life is going on, right? That's why people won't participate in a general strike, I think, because there's too much everyday life going on. They got to pay their bills. They got to get their kids to school. People at work who are counting on them. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I'm going to more meetings. I'm still showing up for this, showing up for the people I care about. I'm also checking out. Last night, I went to see Downton Abbey in a movie theater with my friend.
Okay.
And that was fun.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm just like trying to, I wanted to go to Disneyland, but now I feel like I don't want to go to Disneyland. I'm also mad because Bob and his wife owned my soccer team, and they're bleeding into my, I want to go to the next soccer game with a sign that says Bob put Kimmel back on. Like, I'm not down with the banning of information. Now, that being said, this is why it's so important to stay not reactive, because not reactive means I can still hold on to my beliefs and my strengths and my people and support them in however they need it,
Hmm.
and support myself however I need it,
Yeah.
so that I can like just keep moving, right? Like I mean, oof. I
Yeah.
don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do right now if I had a child in school
Yeah.
for a multitude of reasons.
Hmm.
Guns, books, agendas, all of that. So I might have to build a whole separate curriculum. Might have to
I
homeschool,
was gonna say you would homeschool us. I
right? I
don't know
mean,
about
I would
that.
be a terrible, but and that's the thing. I'd be a terrible homeschool parent. Like I am not,
Mm,
I don't have the patience for it, and I don't have the, I mm, I'm good at systematizing and structuring things, but that's not how I would just be really frustrated doing that. So
mm,
yeah, we have a friend who like left and moved to Spain a couple of years ago because she's like, I
hmm.
don't want my kid raised where he's going to kindergarten and learning how to do these drills, active
Yeah.
shooter drills, like why
Yeah.
should a
It's not normal.
5-year-old have to learn how to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So everything feels like a big emergency protocol right now because
Hmm.
people aren't safe. People aren't safe. Like when I go to the car wash, I'm there, I'm like, are any of these guys going to just get picked up right now? I think you also sent me a video of a black man comedian who was talking about ICE. If ICE existed
Oh,
100 years
like,
ago, and
yeah,
it's
during
like,
slavery.
hey, over here, pick me up, send me back
Send me
home,
back home. Yeah.
right?
Yes. The whole thing is just so crazy.
It is so
Yeah.
crazy.
It's really hard.
So we're, just to give people a time frame on this, because we're just going in to see, this is going to be a month out before it goes
Mm,
on. Last week, it was Charlie Kirk was murdered
hmm.
on a campus in Utah.
Hmm.
All kinds of stuff happened because of that. And then Jimmy Kimmel got pulled from his thing for saying something negative about MAGA. Not egregious, but
Hmm.
said something and they pulled him. And then you follow the money back to this broadcasting place that
Merger.
owns all these people.
Hmm.
I saw a thing on my Instagram where they blended, I don't know, like 30 news.
I posted that
You
too.
did?
Yeah, the Sinclair broadcasting.
Well,
Hmm.
it wasn't the Sinclair. It was like they blended 30 news anchors all saying the same thing at the same time in one square. It kind
That
of
was
looked
from
like
all
this.
the Sinclair providers.
Yes. And it
They're,
was
yeah.
just like, oh, okay. So here's the message. So I think the thing is right now is I really have to be thoughtful about how I digest my news and where I
Hmm.
digest my news. And so
Heather Cox Richardson.
Heather Cox Richardson. I love her. I
Hmm.
love her. She's
Yeah.
a historian. She's smart. She's
Hmm.
not like inflammatory, or like you don't get that energy from her where she's like
Mm.
coming at, because some people you can feel the angst, and she's just telling.
She's not alarmist.
She's not alarmist. She doesn't spike. Well, she talks a lot of stuff, but she doesn't spike my cortisol like. And All that being said, I don't listen to her at night before I go to bed because she posts something in the morning and then I listen. You know, she does the listening part of what she wrote that night, and I can't listen to that kind of news at night because I don't sleep well. But I want to be able to determine fact from story. Interestingly enough, my book group is also reading a book called Nexus right now. Nexus by, I can't ever pronounce his name, same author that wrote Sapiens and other books. And it's a nonfiction book. And it's talking about like,
Harari.
yeah. And information systems going back into the biblical, pre-biblical days to now. And it's so fascinating how the story gets told. And then layer on top of that, I went to a workshop 2 weeks ago at Godmother's, my favorite bookstore everywhere. They're now a sponsor of us, but I'm just saying, love you, Godmother's. And we did this workshop, which was based on facts versus story. And there's so much story. There's very little fact being discussed. So I think it's really important right now for people to really actually dig into the facts. Even before I repost something or before I do anything, I need to like, what is the source of this? Is it true? Did that happen? Is this a real picture? Or is this a picture from long ago? Or is this is this a total AI picture? Like, I don't know what the source of this photo is. It could be anything at this point.
Yeah.
And so I'm almost like, should I just get a flip phone? You know what I mean? Should I just like remove
Valid
myself?
question.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it goes even farther because, you know, all of my information is everywhere, right? Like everything is everywhere. And it's like there's a bill in Florida right now about, you know, removing people's access to passports.
Yeah.
You know, there's just a lot of stuff going on to distract people from what is actually going on. And so the headlines are covering up these moments. And I think what's happening is there's these moments of this extreme headline information, and then all these little bills get pushed through when no one's paying attention because of this noise over here. So I'm trying I guess that's the thing. I'm trying to bring the noise down so that I can just focus on facts, and then I can take action based on those facts.
Yeah.
And not on my emotions, not on my stories, not on a loop of how I think this is going to play out or any of that. Just like what is actually happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one thing I learned in my policy class is that a majority of bills don't get passed, right? A majority of bills that are brought to the House or the Senate just die, right? They die in committee, or they don't even make it. They don't even get referred to committee, which is like where people kind of learn and talk about it and then decide if they want to bring it to the floor or not. So there is, you can go on for now, you can go on the Congress website and you can see all the legislation that's been introduced and like what status it's at. And yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. I think it's hard because we're not used to having civil unrest like at home, right? Usually we're the US is the perpetrators of that abroad. Right. And so, we've had a long period of peace. Like it's kind of unusual, not unusual, but that's just been our norm, right? It's like other countries have had to deal with more political disruptions at home than we have over the last 100 years or so, right. And not to say that obviously we had the civil rights movement and we've had all of these other kind of moments of reaction and protest, but I don't think it's happened to this many people before, right? And so I think for anybody who is marginalized, a lot of people I've been speaking to are kind of like, yeah, duh, like this is just what life is for us. Kind of like when the economy tanks and like the people at the very lowest end of the economy are like, well, nothing really changed for me because like I was already here at the bottom, right? And so for a lot of marginalized people who are unfortunately used to being unfairly policed, that kind of stuff, they're just kind of like, we told you so. Like you could have rallied with us a long time ago. So yeah, I've been going to a lot of events at the law school, trying to just like see where they're at too, because obviously I have the social work perspective, and some of my professors are involved in policy or they're involved in like the economic side. So I'm getting all these different perspectives, and no one has like an answer, right? Everybody is just kind of like waiting for the next shoe to drop, right? I think I went to a Know Your Rights symposium where they were talking about like particularly immigrant and Black rights in the country right now, and weighing, if you have a green card or whatever. And again, like this is not advice, but just having to weigh whether you want to have a political voice or if you need to prioritize your safety. Like that's a legitimate thing that people are having to deal with right now. And it's also hard because it feels like we're helpless. I think a lot of people around election season call their representatives. And then like before and after, there's kind of this flurry of political activity where people are more engaged. And that's, at least for me, it's dropped way off. I was bothering people left and right all day long. And like, I have not been doing that. I've been dropping the ball. And so I think I just need to make that part of my morning routine, because I do think, obviously there is some risk, and like I'm headed out of the country on Thursday this week. So I'm kind of wanting to like protect my bubble until then. And then as soon as that's done, I feel like I will probably engage more.
Got it.
Right? Because it's important. Yeah.
What? Sorry, I just have to back up. You are going out of the country on Thursday.
I know. I'm just like, man, having real life interact, like adult life interact with school in this way is new to me. Like I didn't have a lot of personal life or like family life responsibilities when I was an undergrad. And so it was just like in school, and then we had fall break, and then I could be on break, and then we would do Thanksgiving, then we'd do winter break. And now it's like people are getting married. There's this, there's that. There's like all of like engagement parties or, baby shower. Like there's just stuff happening now. And so it's like good to be here, but also sad to be missing some of that too. So anyway, yeah, I definitely have been more engaged online this week, and I can feel that in my body, like the last week and a half. And also I got my period, right? So I'm like irritated.
Right. We call that Shark Week in our family.
Yes, Shark Week. So that's been happening. And yeah, I totally had a meltdown the other day. I was crying, like apologizing to Nala for blowing up her life. Like, did I ruin your whole life by moving you away from all the people you love? And, you could be hanging with your grandma and grandpa while I'm in class, like that kind of stuff. And just like doubting my abilities, because this week I was not very productive school-wise. I did a lot of other kind of life stuff that needed to happen, but I just like lost kind of my drive and my steam this week. And it was scary because I feel like I need to keep that pressure on in order to get all of the things done that I need to get done. But last night I did tell somebody about our podcast, one of my friends from school, and we had a really interesting conversation just about like this work and how it relates to mental health. And I told them that, having this kind of mantra that emerged has been really helpful for me. The universal mother is taking care of me. And like, even then, like sitting at this like hot air balloon festival and just saying it, I was like, yep, my shoulders just dropped. But it's hard. It's hard to stay engaged and also take care of the things that I need to take care of. And I think also like part of what's challenging too is I feel like I'm in school for an area that's very impactful for like society, right? Like social work has so many applications and it does a lot of good and a lot of sometimes harm, but generally we're trying to do good. And I'm not really like volunteering so much or kind of building out any kind of mutual aid network or anything like that. And I think I would feel better if I did start doing that. So I found a like food rescue organization that I'm going to volunteer with a couple times this fall and just see how it goes, to be participating in a physical way, not just a mental and emotional way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot.
A lot.
I
It's a
mean,
lot.
I think the thing is like life be life in, right?
Hmm.
So there's always stuff to do and things to take care of. And,
Yeah.
I'm balancing work and life. I mean, it's definitely easier now that you guys are grown. I don't
Yeah.
know how I did it when you were younger because it was just,
I don't know
you're
how we did
just,
our childhoods
you're
either.
just on, right? You're just
Yeah.
like on. And so I think the thing for me now is like, okay, well, now that I have this space, how am I going to use this space? Part of it is wanting to do this kind of stuff where we're looking to help others by hopefully them relating to us in a way that helps. Part of it is a little bit hedonistic where I'm taking care of myself and
Hmm.
doing fun things that I want to do.
Joy is
Uh,
also resistance.
yeah,
Very important. They said that at the law school. So,
it is 1000%. And
hmm.
so it's like, going to the movies last night. Could I see Downton Abbey, the movie, when it comes on my Netflix or wherever it's going to show up? Sure. But you know
Yeah.
what? It was kind of fun to go to the movie and eat caramel popcorn and go have dinner before we met a couple of friends that
Mm.
I've known, for a long time. It's just nice to be with people. And then, afterwards I was at the Grove, which I hardly ever go to because it's like a
Mm.
ways away, not a ways,
Hmm.
but at traffic time,
Yeah.
anything is an hour. Something
Yes.
that should take like 20 minutes is an hour. And
Yeah.
and I wandered around there afterwards for a little while,
Hmm.
and it was just nice to be out amongst people wandering around. And I have, I went to an in-person meeting. I have my online meeting. I
Hmm.
have our meeting tomorrow. Anybody out
Hmm.
there, you want to join us for a meeting, please go to our website, 12 Steps for Everyone. It's
Hmm.
number 12. Where is it? Number 12?
Hmm.
Yeah. Go to 12 Steps for Everyone. You can Google it and find us and just fill out the little jot form and we'll send you the link to our little Zoom meeting that we have on Sundays at 10 o'clock. I have tickets to a comedy show coming up. I
Mm.
also have tickets to go Timothy
Snyder
Snyder, talk
on
about,
tyranny.
well, it's not on tyranny, but
Yeah,
he's
but
going to
that
talk
author.
about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mm.
And so I'm going to go hear him speak at a writer's
Nice.
block workshop. And like I'm trying to balance out the stuff. Like I'm reading Nexus, but I'm probably
Hmm.
gonna like dive headfirst into a like Taylor Jenkins Reid book or something
Yeah.
silly right after this. Do you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
to do a like sorbet palate cleanser before the
Yes.
next book group
Yeah.
pick, right?
Hmm.
I can't just be in the heavy all the
Yeah.
time. And so I'm trying to balance out the heavy with the light, with the joy,
Hmm.
with the love, with the work, with the,
Yeah.
and then I have a couple of new people joining my office. So
Mm.
a new front desk person and a new support person who I know and who's been in our organization. The second one I know and has been in our organization. And I'm just looking forward to getting to know this kid a little better. It's like
Mm.
it turns out we went to the same elementary school, like the elementary school I went to. That was like in its first year. So I'm like one of the
Yeah.
original students of that school. Like we found all these little connections, Hannah, and I was like, we're basically cousins,
Mm.
and I love connecting with young people and being able to help develop their leadership and skills in that
Hmm.
area. And then another gal who's joining us who was like, she was a studio manager for some yoga studios. And I was like, oh, yeah, I want that energy. Like she knows how to do systems and she also can bring that, that yoga vibe to
Yeah.
the office. So I'm like, yes, please. That's who I want in my office. That's who I want greeting people when they walk in. And so
Mm.
just all of those things. And we have some fun things coming up. We're going to have a party. So, we were, it's real estate. So we were saying like, the theme is like real estate is been a little spooky, so we're wigging out, and so
Oh my
it's
God,
going
a
to be
wig
a wig
party.
party.
That's
So I
hilarious.
have ordered my wig, and I am going
Mm,
to make some sort of Bridgerton-esque situation for my head. And
nice.
like, and that's it. Like, and that it's just like, where can I find creativity, joy?
Mm,
Like, it's not like life isn't black and white.
yeah.
It's all the colors. And so making room for that, and then allowing like that, the other part I think that's really important for me is to be present in the moment
Mm,
so that I can be there when the joy is there, so that I can be there when Timothy's talking about tyranny. When I can be
yeah.
there, I can hear it, and I I don't know if I talked about this last time we got together or not, but
Mm,
I spoke at a meeting a few weeks ago, and it was on a Friday morning. I think it was at 8:30. I get in my car starts playing whatever's on my phone, and it's like Van Morrison into the
yes, you did talk
Mystic.
about
And
this.
I just love that. I
Yeah.
love that I was present and not so like in the like, oh, got to get to this meeting. I'm speaking, blah, 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 blah. What am I going to say? To
Yeah.
be like in that available to hear the music. And so that's what I really am trying to do. I haven't been doing my like hour-long meditations that I was doing with this
Me
weird
neither.
like sound. I don't know. This guy is out there, but you know
Mm,
what? I go out there sometimes. This guy was like, he made these binaural beats, and they're an hour
mm,
long, and they're supposed to they go into your brain and create whatever. And
yeah.
he's a physicist who has studied whatever. I love people who converge on science and woo woo. Like
Mm,
I dig it.
hmm.
I dig it. And I can see where the Maha people, like there's a weird convergence of
Yeah.
health foods and woo woo,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
right.
Eventually that Venn diagram overlaps on the other side.
And so that's the other thing, is like I'm also trying to not be so black and white with all
Mm,
of that too. It's like, yeah, I don't agree with the policies on vaccines, but I do agree with like getting chemicals out of our food, right? Like
mm,
there are some there are some things that are not terrible, but
yeah.
it's just harder to find when you sit in my brain where I'm sitting. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
easier to find if you're sitting in somebody else's brain, right? That's so I'm also trying
Like
to
a worm.
be, yeah,
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
yes, like a worm.
Anyways. Okay,
Oh
sorry.
my God, Jackie sent a I guess it's
Like, what did I send?
the things on the phones that
Emoji.
an emoji of a worm in our little group chat with my dad, and he's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "It's a brain worm."
Obviously.
Ah,
I love that you picked that up right away.
yeah,
Yeah. It's also hard too because I feel like there's an attempt to kind of shift reality, right? And what our collective understanding is of like what is a fact and
right,
what is data and what is grounded in evidence and the real world and what is being applied and separation of church and state and all of these things. And it's hard to engage with when they're not using the same manual, right? Like we're referencing one manual that's been the manual for the last 250 years, and some people are not using that manual. They're using another manual that came out of left field, right field. And so how do you engage with that?
right,
Right? And everybody thinks they're right. I think I'm right,
yeah,
you know?
And it's
Yeah.
interesting listening to this book. They were talking about the earliest, Bible
Mm-hmm.
stories in the Gospels and what was going to, and, all of it is story, right? I
Mm-hmm.
just want to be clear, like all of it is story, right? Somebody wrote it down. And they were talking
Mm-hmm.
about the importance of he's going into he was in this portion of the book around documentation, right? And the
Mm.
documentation, not only in the biblical sense of like whose gospel got in and whose gospel didn't,
Yep.
right? But also his own family not being able to prove
Mm.
their land ownership
Mm-hmm.
and they're like and going back to biblical times, like I need
Yeah.
to prove that this land is mine. Can you go find those tablets that
Right.
have this information on it?
Yeah.
And if you couldn't and if for some reason it burned down in a war or whatever source contained that data was
Yeah.
gone, you can't prove what you need to prove. And why his family is so focused on keeping good records. It
Mm.
goes all the way back to, I think, his grandfather or his great grandfather
Yeah.
losing
Mm.
agency and losing his land
So tough.
because he couldn't prove on paper,
Yeah.
because we couldn't find the paper, even though the that it was a fact that he owned it, right? So then the story becomes you don't own it because you don't have that paper.
Yeah.
And so again, when you're talking about those facts versus stories, sometimes even the facts on the paper are still stories, right? It's so fascinating. It's
Everything
really
in our world is made up. We
right,
literally humans have made up every single part of our world, right? Either through engaging with it or engaging with other people. Like,
right.
yes. Yeah.
Right. But going back to like the fact versus story, if you can really distill it down, like when I was in this workshop the other day, one
Mm.
of the facilitators was talking about like the fact that she was going to talk about was I unloaded the dishwasher today. Like that's a
Mm-hmm.
fact. She took the dishes out of the dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
The story was my kids are lazy. My husband didn't try and help me. We didn't raise our family right. Why does nobody see that I have to do everything? Then it becomes like, I'm going to be mean to everybody today because nobody's helping me because I have to do
Mm.
everything. I'm the martyr, blah, blah, blah. Like all out of that one fact, which was I unloaded the dishwasher.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's hard to disseminate what is fact when you come back to what you just said, which is all of it, almost all of it is story.
Yep. And even data, like one thing that I have always struggled with is like, I don't think science can be fully unbiased. Like, I don't think that it can be fully objective because we're human beings interacting with everything, you
Right,
know?
right,
There's no way to not participate.
right.
So, yeah.
But that was that one of the points of his conversation too, is like the dissemination of fact versus story and the self correcting measures of, he was talking about the Catholic Church.
Mm.
Like there's no, when anything like, let's say the abuse of children, they deflect. It wasn't the church's abuse. It was these bad actors within the church. So it wasn't the institution. And they
Yeah.
talked about how, science, that the church will, and other institutions where they don't have self-correcting things will just keep talking about what it is that is what they do.
Yeah.
Whereas science and universities and other places are there to challenge what was previously thought.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
when these powers are trying to take over,
Mm.
that is the reason why they will silence media and try and take over education, because that is one of those places where ideas will be challenged and they're
Right.
there to challenge ideas.
Right.
So I'm really happy you're in school right now.
I'm happy I'm in school too. I think it is so interesting too. I went to another talk that was about social mobility and just the role that higher education plays in that, and looking at specifically in St. Louis, these various organizations that are working to kind of improve that. And one of the statistics they put out was, I don't remember which exactly group they were referencing, but there's some group that only has I think it's a significant group, only has a third grade reading level. I think that's like the average across the schools here or something like that. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, so knowing that, like, how do those people engage with all of this stuff, right? And most people don't care. Most people just want to be left alone.
Mm-hmm.
They like want to pay a reasonable amount of tax so that they can have good streets and good schools and, public infrastructure, right? And yeah, they also, it sounds, I've heard this over and over again too in these talks, is people really seem to focus on giving their kids a better life than they had, or at least maintaining the status quo, right? And that's getting harder to do.
Yeah.
Right now. So
they did a thing with Bernie Sanders where he went into, I think, West Virginia, into a coal mining town where most people have kind of lost their jobs, and talking about how hard it is to choose between healthcare and food. Right? Like those are real choices many Americans are making right now.
Or your rent or food or whatever. Yeah.
Like there's no stability in your basic hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
And when all of those are not being met, how do we move to a more humane way of being with people? I don't, it's just, it's so complicated and so many layers and so, I don't know. I think everybody wants their children to have at least what they have or better.
Yeah.
And it's hard with the cost of food, the cost of housing, the cost of everything, and wages not keeping up.
Yeah. And then feeling powerless about that.
Right. Exactly. I mean, another post I saw, this guy was like, okay, well, if you voted for what's going on right now and you say that need a job, there's some jobs in agriculture right now at $11 an hour where you can work 14-hour days, 7 days a week, and live in the farm housing where you're going to be paying your rent and barely, you know what I mean? Buying your food from them, paying your rent to them.
Yeah. Yes. And there's been a lot of that conversation going on, right? It's like the fuck around and find out part. We're definitely in the find out part.
Yes.
And a lot of people are like, I told you so.
Right.
And while that is true, like it's not necessarily going to be productive in moving us forward either. Like, have the day you deserve, have the harvest you deserve. Like that's not helpful.
It's like, how is it helpful that this guy has to throw out his whole soybean crop? Like, how is that helpful? Why is this food going to waste?
Yeah. And then you have to wonder, like, why do people keep voting against their own self-interest?
Right.
Because of XYZ factors. Right.
Because of a one topic, abortion.
Right.
Or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Or just because you're sexist, right? There's no way there can be a woman, or there's no way there can be a black woman, or there's no way there can be a Democrat. There's no way there could be anybody that's not looking, sounding like what I know, even though voting for this is not going to help me.
Yeah. But I think my thing going forward is I'm going to try, like, I'm so engaged in all of the everything right now. I feel like I joked in one of my classes, I felt like a raccoon just grabbing after all the shiny things, just because I don't know what I want to focus on work-wise or what issues I care about or what I want my concentration to be in. And so I think what I'm going to try to do is like distill down to like 2 or 3 things that I really care about and find ways to engage with those. Right. So one of those, I did volunteer to be a poll worker this November because I don't have class on Tuesdays.
Great.
That felt meaningful. And I really enjoyed it when I did that in I think it was the 2020 election. Yeah, because I had full PPE on. And I'm going to try to get involved in this food rescue organization and maybe some other third thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I think otherwise I get overwhelmed trying to fix all of these things. And I keep having to tell myself, like, I'm not God.
No.
Right? I can't, it's not my responsibility to fix everything, and I can't fix everything, even though I really, really want to.
Right. Hold on one second. I just gotta grab this book because I had to share at a meeting last week. And I think I shared this with you and Kim on our call this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then this step 9, which is like an amends step, it says, for the readiness to take the full consequences of our past acts and to take responsibility for the well-being of others at the same time is the very spirit of step 9. I sometimes will take that too far and worry so much about the well-being of others that I neglect my own needs and my own best intentions, right? It doesn't help them and it doesn't help me, right? So sometimes I am of the same ilk where it can be, I can be too far one or the other. But I think the thing is like, I know for sure when I'm in a dark space and I've now worked whatever step that I want to work and I want to do what I want to, I want to get out of my own self-made prison, helping others, serving others, 100% will work every time.
Yeah.
Giving somebody a ride, bringing somebody some food, asking how I can help, and meeting them where they are, going and helping going to a meeting and just finding a newcomer and talking to them for a little bit. Whatever it is, will 1000% get me out of my looping brain of despair.
Yeah.
And so it is one of those tools that I do grasp for. But what happens is sometimes, like you, I'm like, I want to help everybody. Like I feel badly when I see a homeless person, like, oh, because I could be that homeless person with my addiction, right? I could have been, my life could have gone a very different way, and I am very clear about that. And so when I see people who has gone that way for, I feel a deep empathy and sadness for them because like it's just, you're like, what happened to you? Like, and I can't go helping I mean, I work in Santa Monica. When I'm walking down Main Street, I'm half the people I pass to go get my lunch are homeless.
Yeah.
And that's in and of itself is like, why are these people unhoused? Why is there no, you know, and maybe you'll find out what. I think it had to do with, part of it had to do with taxation. Part of it had that, mental institutions, state and federal funded mental institutions were no longer happening after the Reagan era.
Which is not fully a bad thing because
they were horrible.
Great. Yeah. But it was something.
It was something. And also what would happen if there was a actually good, run by people who are not harming others and who actually, do you know what I mean? Like what would happen if there was actually a place for people to go? And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, not everybody, there's a thing where it's like, well, they're not agreeing to go. They're not in the right mind to agree. Like maybe you need to stabilize them. Then they can get to some agreement. Do they want to stay and keep going or not? Right? Like maybe we don't need to ask if they want help right away when somebody is obviously either having a psychotic episode or on drugs that are messing with their ability to make a sound decision. Or do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Not that you can save everybody, but I'm like, why in the world in this country do we have that? Like,
Yeah.
why do we have hungry children? Why do we have I mean, in this, I don't know that we were going to talk about all these things today. And it's like
Hmm.
really hard to want to fix the world and not be able to. And I think that all that's gone on in the last 2 weeks just brings it all up. Is like, oh, okay, that serenity prayer, grant me
Yeah.
the serenity, right? Grant me the serenity
Mm-hmm.
to accept the things that cannot change, which is pretty much everything.
Hmm.
The courage to change the things I can, which is like, oh yeah, I can volunteer at a food rescue. I can,
Hmm.
but donate to the NRDC. I can do things that I feel will make a difference.
Yeah.
And then the wisdom to know the difference. Oh, that's the blurry place for me is like, because sometimes I'm trying to help people who don't want help
Yeah.
and don't need my help.
Hmm.
You told me before where it's like, we were like, don't help me, let me do this. And I was like, ooh, right.
Hmm.
She doesn't want my help with that thing. And
Hmm.
also, yes, thank you for making me stop. Do you know what I mean? Because I was not
Yeah.
being helpful to you at that point.
Hmm.
Right. So it's, yeah.
Yeah. Not to go on another tangent, we could talk about this in our next episode, but two of the like principles slash ethics that are super important in social work are the dignity and worth of the individual, like dignity and worth of the person, and then also the right to self-determination, right? And so it's not always exactly cut and dry. There's so many different layers and ways that things intersect, but keeping those in mind has been really helpful.
Oh, we're going to have so many good conversations coming up because Jackie's
Yeah.
in school getting all these informational things. Oh,
This is
I
actually
love
really
it.
helpful for me too, because I've just been so mad at myself all week for not doing more to be quote unquote productive in school. And I'm like, oh no, like my brain is receiving things and processing things. So thank
Yeah,
you for letting me nerd out on all of this.
I love it.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. You're a
Well,
miracle.
you're a
I'm a miracle.
miracle. We're
Nala's
all
a
miracle.
miracle.
We're all miracles.
All
Drink water.
miracles.
Drink some water.
Yep. I have not done that today.
If you want to meet with our little group, the
Mm-hmm.
gates are open. We're
Mm-hmm.
opening the gates of our little room and go on our site and fill out the form so we know how to email you the link because we're not just going to
Yeah.
put it out there for all of humanity. But if you want to join us, you are welcome to join us Sundays at 10
Yeah.
a.m. Pacific time,
Mm-hmm.
where we just go around the room and share what's going on. We talk about the 12 steps for everyone. Each week, we base our meeting on one step
Mm-hmm.
and we're going in order. Next week, we will be on step 3.
Yeah.
And
And what we do, we meet, we read the steps, we read our preamble, we have a 5-minute reflection period. So you can go feed your dog, you can write, you can just sit and meditate, go to the bathroom, take care of your body, whatever. And then we all come back and then we share. And I think it's important. Like we've done this so much now that I think I forget how intimidating it can be. Like for me, going into an Al Anon meeting, for example, or an ACA meeting for the first time, I remember when I went to my first couple of meetings in those spaces, I was like, what am I doing here? Like, how does this go? Why does everybody know all these things? Like one of them was a virtual meeting in Hawaii or something that I like tagged onto. And it was 4 people and they all clearly knew each other. And I was just like, hey.
and that's how it will feel joining in our meeting because it is a
Yeah.
smaller group.
Hmm.
But I will say everyone is very welcoming and
Hmm.
loving and there for the same reasons clicking in that
Yeah.
you're clicking in. And
You can
uh,
share or not share.
you can be on camera or not on camera.
Hmm.
You can just listen and
Hmm.
just see what's what without having to do anything and just
Hmm.
pass if somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, join us. We
Hmm.
want to see people, and it's really lovely. So
Yes.
All right.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sure thing. Unless you're driving. Don't close your eyes. But if you're not driving, close your eyes and think about what you are grateful for. And take a deep breath in. And exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yay.
Love you, Jack.
Love you.
Miss you.
Love
Can't
all
wait
of
to
you.
hug you.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, drink some water.
Yes.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.
We want to hear from you.
Find us on Instagram and TikTok at 12 Steps for Everyone. That's at the number 12 Steps for Everyone.
Please like and follow us. You can also send us topics you want us to dig into or follow-up questions from each episode.
And if you know someone who would enjoy or benefit from our conversations, please feel free to share this with them. All are welcome here.